My name is Ruth Roundtree, founder and CEO of Speech Apraxia International. Speech apraxia is a neural inefficiency in the programming and planning of speech. People know what they want to say but have trouble saying it. You can be born with a speech apraxia, and that's called childhood apraxia of speech. Then you have acquired apraxia of speech, usually when you're an adult. So acquired apraxia of speech is usually after you have a stroke. And there's another form of acquired apraxia of speech, that is primary progressive apraxia of speech, that usually happens later on in life when individuals lose the ability to speak. So Speech Apraxia UK was set up to provide information, support and advocacy for individuals who are affected by speech apraxia. We have membership globally across 85 countries in the world currently, but we are still growing. We provide a whole range of services and provision. We have an extensive website. We have parents and carer groups, professional groups. One in 1,000 individuals is born with childhood apraxia of speech. So when adults get that diagnosis with their children, they often feel isolated, unsure, afraid, not sure how to get advice and information. So one of the things I wanted to set up early on was a network for those parents and carers to get together, to connect, to talk. And one of the things that parents often say is they apologise for venting. And that is such a powerful thing, because that is one of the key roles of that part of the organisation, to give those parents that support, that network. And the other parents are so supportive in that community, because outside it's easy to imagine that everybody knows about speech apraxia, but outside the organisation there's so little awareness and knowledge about speech apraxia. So one of the key things of the organisation, one of the key things that we do, is we provide that network of therapists to connect, to inform, to provide that support to each other. Our website is packed with resources across different approaches. Most things in the organisation are done without that cost barrier to access. And that's one of the key ethos, one of the strong ethos of the organisation that we have. One of the key strengths of the organisation is the connections between the parents that form across nations. We have parents from Italy, India, Pakistan, UAE, Oman, Dubai, UK, all connecting and forming those relationships through our forum.
I'm Sarah, so I'm a nurse by trade, and I now specialise in the world of education, nursing education, medical education, that kind of thing. Childhood apraxia of speech is, for all intents and purposes, it's a lifelong neurological condition, a motor neurological condition. So he knows what he wants to say, but his brain can't control his mouth and his lips and his tongue to do all the really fine movements that are required for speech. When you talk, your brain needs a motor plan to put things in order so that the words come out. But for Rowan, that pathway doesn't quite work. So for him, what that means is to be able to speak in the future, he needs quite intensive speech therapy. So we have to teach his brain how to teach his mouth and his tongue and his lips where to go, in what order, and form those motor plans, and then to be able to apply them in different settings. So it's very different to how most children learn. Most parents will watch their kids go to school and learn phonetically, so they'll learn k, at, cat. Rowan isn't able to do that, so he has to learn the word cat, and he has to learn the sequence of sounds as an individual word, at least at this stage. As he gets older, he'll be able to hopefully do a little bit more blending and things like that all by himself. So it's a very different approach to learning speech. The current system, the way it is, speech therapy is really hard to access, as is the specialism that's required for this. Many therapists don't get exposed to this kind of work, they don't get the training behind it, and they certainly don't get the practice because it's a rare disorder, so there's not loads of kids out there to practice on. During one of my many evening Google hunts into trying to educate myself, I spotted the website Speech Apraxia UK. Two things that grabbed me straight away. One was a petition to get speech apraxia known about and in the eyes of Parliament, and more investment in speech and language therapy for kids. So I think I signed that within about 7 seconds. I was like, yep, I'll sign that petition straight away. And then the other one was the picture of Ruth and the little bio underneath about who she was, why she set this up, and the fact that she's grown up with apraxia herself. And I thought, aha, someone who really knows. That was enough to keep me interested, and then straight away I saw the parent and carer WhatsApp group, and that was amazing. I just put a few posts on there, and straight away loads of people go, no, I understand how you feel, I've been there, I've done that. And it was nice that many of the parents have got older children as well, because it was really nice to think, you don't really look at your child beyond where they are in the moment. And I thought, oh yeah, he's going to be a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old and ultimately an adult. And you think, oh, so seeing some of the parents with older children who are that much further on, that gives you a bit of hope, doesn't it? As much as I'm a healthcare professional, and I know, and I've got that professional lens on things, is I'm still a mum at the end of the day, and I still worry about where he's going to be and things like that. And it's really nice to hear that I'm not on my own. Because when you're fighting for stuff, for therapy, for EHCPs, etc., it's incredibly lonely. Because you do feel like it's you against the world. And you're sat there and you're going, I'm not asking for much. Not really. I'm asking for what my son needs. I'm asking for therapy. I'm asking for some investment in him, just like every other child in the country gets. So finding Speech Apraxia UK, finding the community, seeing professionals invested in this, seeing parents invested in this, and some young adults who have apraxia and things like that invested in this. It really makes it a community rather than an organisation who are telling you what you should have, or it's people coming together to figure out what's needed. We had a horrible moment, an awful moment, which will make me tear up, where Rowan expressed that he needed more words. And it took an hour for him to tell me that, and it was heartbreaking. And I'm very open with Rowan. I talk to him about this openly. You know, we know the words are in there, they're a bit stuck at the moment, we're going to get them out. And when he sees Ruth and older children and everybody speaking, I think for him, although he can't express it, he knows that it's not forever. This isn't forever. So that's got to make it better for him. It has to. So yeah, it's quite emotional, but yeah, that was a very specific moment that made me go, this will be okay. When we are fighting the good fight to get more speech and language investment in this, and to get more SEND investment in this, and to get the schools recognising this, and the universities who are training new therapists to really invest in motor speech as a disorder, rather than the long-standing approaches to speech and language therapists, then it's organisations like Speech Apraxia UK that will really, really push that fight forward, definitely. Oh, the international side of things is brilliant. You get to see how things are being done elsewhere. There are various countries around the world that are doing this really well, and there are various countries around the world where there is nothing, literally nothing. And you think, oh my goodness, as much as it's a struggle, I should be grateful for what I have got, because, like I say, some countries provide nothing. It broadens your horizons a little bit as well, and it makes you start thinking about, oh well, there are different ways of doing this that don't fit the current provision in the UK. However, there are other models out there that may work really well, that we could be working towards and fighting towards. And on the parent group, they've shared, some families have shared short videos of their children with apraxia, but apraxia in a different language. And again, some of the parents are raising children bilingually, and apparently that's actually really beneficial to their child with apraxia. So yeah, it's been interesting.